Honestly, pushing bikes out every morning, not my favorite part of this job. I remember when I started working for a motorcycle shop a long time ago, I was stoked, right, to push them out and maybe ride one or two every now and then if it was a street bike. Or now it's just part of the day. I shouldn't complain, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. This one's for sale if anybody wants it. It's $525. It's actually in really great shape. Let me know. And this one's brand new. It's freaking awesome. It's a 500. We're gonna make it street legal. Put a couple cool guy things on it. It's gonna be rad. Welcome back to another Shlog, guys. It is another week here at Highlandcycles. We're stoked. We got lots to do. Cool projects. We got a bunch of huge projects done last week and out of here, which is really cool because some of them have been sitting here for way too long. Yeah, just getting things opened up. Zach will be here very soon to get working on this thing to start. It's an 18 450 XCF that we made street legal and did a bunch of cool guy stuff too. Actually an interesting problem. The fuel started spraying out of the connector between the tank and the throttle body. And it's actually kind of a common thing. There's a little O-ring in there, and if it gets bumped or moved or whatever and opens up a little bit, the connection, it'll spray fuel. The customer took it apart and he thought he could fix it, and he did more damage than he did not. So we got a couple parts to replace now. But we'll do that. We're also going to install tubeless on it. Not my favorite thing, but whatever. That's what he wants. And yeah, we're going to get on with the day. Alright guys, time to get to work. But today I am hopefully finally going to fix the brake system on my KTM. Daisy has for the last, I don't know, 50 or 60 hours not had the best front brake. I've bled it over and over again. I've put the zip ties on the lever. I rebuilt it with aftermarket parts. I haven't gone into the caliper yet, but after taking lots of things apart and taking a look at it, I decided I'm just going brand new, all OEM stuff, including the brake lever, because the brake lever had some play in it. The pin that it play in. Anyway, whatever. I'm starting all freaking brand new, fresh. Got a bunch of Brembo parts here. I already took the caliper and master cylinder part and ultrasonic them and got them all shiny and happy. So now I'm going to rebuild them, and hopefully this is going to fix the problem once and for all. If you've been around Brembo brakes much, you'll know that like they're the best brakes in the world when they're working, but they're really a pain when they start to not work. Seems like there's always air in them. Really hoping that this takes care of all of that, because I really miss my awesome brakes. So I'll walk you guys through what we're going to do here. Alright, so we're going to start with the master cylinder. I take a look down inside here and it looks really good, but I have another idea. You know, I always put a crosshatch in the chrome of the forks when I rebuild forks. It helps them seal and also helps hold a little bit of lubrication on there. I'm going to attempt to cut just a tiny bit of this off in a really skinny thing, and I'm going to run it in there and put a crosshatch in there, because that also helps, like I said, it helps cylinders, you know, piston seal and all that stuff. So I think this is going to work. And if it doesn't, I'll let you guys know so that you don't do it yourself. And I guess I'll buy a new master cylinder. But I think it's going to be just fine. A little bit of Scotch-Brite. Just small enough. I'll run it down in there. Then we're just going to twist it. And you can't get much of a purchase on this thing, so it's not going to do much of anything, really. But if anything, it'll deglaze, or I don't know, whatever. It might do something. Alright guys, so the caliper. Like I said, I've already taken it all the way apart, gotten all the seals out. brand new Brembo seals. Let's install these things. I'm not going to go deep into this. It's not very hard. You put the seals into the caliper. When we get to bleeding, we'll talk more about all this stuff. But there are, one thing to know, there are two different thicknesses of seals. They're way different, so you shouldn't mess that up. But just pay attention. One thing that you definitely want to do is use their assembly fluid. It's just nice because it helps grease everything up so that when you slide it together, you don't catch a seal or do something weird. I'm really actually hoping that these seals are what were causing my brake to never really like fully seal. So thick ones go in first because they're down low. These skinny ones are kind of like dust seals, just to keep any grime out. Got our pistons, lube them up. Now here's the thing that I wouldn't think that I needed to mention, but I will because I've seen it done wrong. When you're putting pistons into a caliper, the blunt end goes in, not the cupped end. If you put the cupped end in, you cannot ever have enough fluid to make it work. So blunt end goes in. You just want to be kind of careful, but since we got lubed up, it should be relatively easy to get it in there. What you don't want to do is force it, because if you do, you can actually hang up on that seal and then botch the whole thing. Caliper rebuilt, that's super simple. Master cylinder, which we use our little Scotch-Brite to kind of clean up. Master cylinder rebuild kit from Brembo, again, using all OEM stuff because I'm just tired of it not working. So hopefully this takes care of it. I really like the fact that these come with the seals already on the plunger. They used to come separate, and then you had to try to get them on there without tearing them. It's a huge pain. Spring, there's a narrow end and a thicker end. The narrow end goes over the little nubbin. Same stuff, might as well open up the new one. And then when you're sliding this thing in there, just be nice and easy so that the seal doesn't catch as it goes in. There we go. Kind of make sure it all looks like it's doing its thing. Then we got our circlip. There's snap ring pliers. Have to push in on this thing and put these in, so it's kind of tough. I like to set this thing, actually chuck this up in a vise, just nice and easy, so I don't mess anything up. Let's get a screwdriver, and we're going to push down on the plunger and put this in. So let me show you. Take the screwdriver, put it through here first, because if you put this in, you can't get it on. So put the screwdriver here first, go down. There we go, got her in there. You kind of want to just make sure it's all the way in its groove, so you can either take a nice skinny flat blade and kind of just push on that circlip, make sure it's down in where it needs to go. There we go. Yes. Got the banjo bolts, brand new washers. Like I said, I'm freaking going all brandy spanky, other than the line. The line, I can't imagine what's wrong with it. It seems to be just fine. So I did not put a new hose on it, but everything else is brand stinking new. And if this doesn't make it better, I'm done. Alright, so getting ready to put the caliper back on. Got the master cylinder on. This pin and the matching pin here, hang on, right there, they need to be greased, because that is what allows this caliper to float. So if your rotor gets a little bit bent or warped or whatever, it keeps it from actually causing the brake to not work. So it moves back and forth and allows it to, the brake rotor, to have a little bit of move in it if it gets either hits a rock or gets warped or whatever, and keep your brake working normal. So you want to grease that up, use the same grease, because why not? So I am not replacing the pads, because these pads were new not long ago, back when I put the rotor on, which is also not that long. So pads are old, but not that old. All right. I've been pretty careful not to touch the pads with my greasy fingers, but still gonna brake clean them off. Come on! No, she's not. We're gonna blow up the YouTube, Zach Sheets. Zach Sheets and I are gonna blow up the YouTubes, everybody, by the way. Just so you guys know, mark my words, September 29th, 2020, I'm saying right now, Zach Sheets and I are gonna be giantly famous someday. And we're going to share all our money with you right after we buy bush planes. So, but bush planes come first, really, sorry. But anyway, I got the syringe all hooked up here. That's what my rig looks like. Zip tie it up above it, blah, 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 kind of like I've done before. Got the master cylinder right there. Got the lever loose. I'm not showing that very well, but lever's loose. So I'm going to push fluid up to the top first instead of trying to bleed it back down. Hopefully that takes care of most of the bubbles right off the bat, and then we can start bleeding it after that. Need to put our little anti-bubble thing in there, which actually, in my opinion, just creates more bubbles sometimes. But we'll get it in there now, and as we push through, it'll get the bubbles out. Need to get some more brake fluid. Put it in here. I'm going to bleed it down, then back up, then down, then back up. Keep doing that until we get good pressure. All right, guys. So I got the KTM bled. Honestly, it was a battle. I didn't film the whole thing because it was such a battle, but I think it's good. I ended up having to take the caliper off. I'm sorry I didn't film all this. I just got busy. But anyway, I took the caliper off of the fork leg and I undid everything. I pulled it all down so it was downhill all the way, except for one little bump at the top. And then I put a zip tie around the brake lever to pull it tight, and I left it overnight, and I came back, I pushed fluid up from the bottom by just pushing the pistons in. It feels pretty good. So we'll ride it tomorrow night, and I'll let you guys know. But anyway, driving me nuts. The only thing left that's not brand new is the line. So if it's still squishy, that's all it could possibly be. But anyway, I think it's awesome. I'll let you guys know. Also, big news, everybody. Yesterday, I ordered a van for the shop. Super stoked. Thank you guys on YouTube for all the support, both financially and just subscribing and watching the videos. It's going to be our new Ride the World series of awesomenesses van. And it's going to be rad. I'm super stoked. It's going to be a while before it gets here. I will be filming the entire build of the inside of it into a moto hauling camping awesome thing. So that's going to be awesome. But now it's time for me to work on my son's KX100 that he blew up. I think I mentioned in an earlier Shlog. Anyway, the power valve wasn't opening. So I got all the parts right here, and I'm going to replace it because the rod wasn't turning, which I think something down here is messed up. And there's... Alright guys, I'm laughing because I think I maybe just deleted an order that Zach put in on the computer. There's a little miscommunication there. Anyway, so I think I may have figured this thing out. So the power valve wasn't moving. I could spin, let's see, where's the rod? Okay, so here's the power valve. This isn't the governor, this is the thing that actually opens it. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, I could move this really easily, and then it wouldn't move when revving the motor. It was like something wasn't connected, and I thought maybe it was this plastic gear not matching up with something, because honestly, we split the cases and put a crank in this thing years ago for my older son, but I don't remember. Anyway, so I thought maybe the plastic thing's junk. Turns out that's the water pump shaft. It does not engage the governor. And it's fine. 1 second. Highlandcycles is Morgan. The water pump shaft's not bad, so I'm going to replace it anyway, obviously. But when I took the governor, power valve governor, everything looks fine. I got it in this towel because it's hot. I did change the height on it a little bit. You can, anyway, whatever. It's turns out that's probably not what I needed to do, although it was a little out of spec, so I fixed it, but whatever. When this went in, it goes into here, and it wasn't lining up really well with this gear. This is loose because I took it off to get the water pump shaft out, but as it went in, the gears didn't line up that well, and I realized that I think it wasn't turning. Like, and after much closer inspection and looking at lots of pictures and things like that, I think that all those years ago, I put this gear on wrong, which is funny because it worked perfectly for a very long time. So it took my boy blowing the bike up before anything changed, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. But this bevel, you can see the bevel on the gear was inboard, and I don't know, maybe it was like that the last time it got rebuilt before I don't know, and so I put it back on the same way because that's how I usually do things, or maybe I just botched it. I could easily have just botched it, but anyway, I think we figured it out. I'm going to put this on the correct way and bolt everything back up. I got new water pump shaft, new water pump seal, a whole bunch of new gaskets, things like that, and yeah, put this thing all back together, fire it up, and hopefully it fixes it. There's still a chance that there's something more wrong with this because he did blow it all the way up, but I think that's going to fix it. I know the power valve's working. You can hear it working and you can move it. So I know that's fine. I looked through the exhaust port. You can see it's doing what it needs to do. So I think that's all good. And everything else looks fine. So I think once I get this taken care of, we should be good to go. So I'm going to put this all back together. I'll check in if there's anything else super interesting. Otherwise, I'll check in and fire it up and see how it does. All right, guys. So I'm super stoked. I got the bike running, and I'm also super embarrassed. So the power valve definitely was not working before blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's fixed. I'll show you how that works. I left the cover off. You can see right in there. I'll start it here in just a second and show you how that works. But I put it all together. I fired it up, and the dumb thing wouldn't run. Oh, it was driving me nuts. It would start and idle, but it wouldn't take throttle. I'm sitting there fiddling with it. I'm mad, whatever. Took the carburetor off again, blah, blah, all this stuff. Finally, I realized like there was no sound coming out of the back of the bike. It was all just out of the front from the motor and the pipe and not from the exhaust like the silencer. So I put my hand over the silencer while I was running and nothing. So then I'm like, well, okay. So blew through the pipe. That was all good. Took the silencer apart, blew through the spark arrestor part of it. That was all good. Blew through from the silencer towards the pipe, but in this section right here, and it wouldn't blow. So I took it off, and yeah, that's silicone. I put that there. Obviously not on purpose, but I was trying to get this to seal up better, and I put some silicone in there. I clearly put a lot. I don't know why I put that much. Zach just asked, how did you put enough silicone for that to do that? And I don't have an answer. I made a mistake. It's a pretty hilarious one now because I wasted some time. But I'm stoked though because now it runs great. I'll show you guys that. Yeah, so it turns out with a giant glob of silicone in the silencer, the bike won't run. Tech tip. All right, let's get this thing fired up and I'll show you guys how the power valve works. Shut up, Zach Sheets! He's laughing at me right now. That's okay. I'll give him this one. It's the end of birthday month. That's his end of birthday month present right there. Hey, look at that. So, I'm just going to show you the power valve and then I'll explain it in a second. So for those of you who don't know, the way a power valve works is that it's At idle and low RPMs, it's closed, which effectively lowers the port height of the exhaust port. And then as you rev it, it opens up and lets the bike breathe freer and raises that exhaust port. So anyway, it's working great now. I'm gonna put the cover and the gasket on there. I'm gonna get some lunch, and then we're gonna keep on going with the day. Here's the most important thing that happened today. Zach Sheets is carrying a knife in here because our super awesome rad friend Kevin O'Loughlin bought the two of us a cake. Just like I said in last week's Shlog, he's like, oh, Zach Sheets wants chocolate cake. Well, freaking Kevin got us cake. And that makes Zach say, woo! Yeah! Birthday month! There we go. I knew I'd get him to yell on camera eventually. We've been celebrating birthday month for the last half of this month. So we are going to continue it into October. So do not feel like you've missed the boat. If you want to send us more cake or anything like that. I'm not begging for things, but if you're just motivated down deep to get us a cake or make coffee or whatever, then feel free, because we're going to go way into October with this thing. So, Kevin, seriously though, thank you so much. I really cannot believe you did that. It's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, we got to get back to work right after we eat some cake, but I'm going to turn the camera off because that might not be pretty. Super stoked today because it's mail time from, well, I'll show you what it's from. There's a little something in here for me, and then there's also something in here for that KTM right behind me that the angry man is working on, bringing super duper anger to electrical systems on KTMs. So let's take a look and see what's in here. Oh, also stay tuned because I'll be putting the clutch into the XR650 today, and then hopefully riding a wheelie. Ba-da-bam! Boom! 2 Mako 360s, one for the KTM. And more importantly, to me at least, one for the Yamaha. That's right. Ow! And I love these shark stickers. They're so cool. Boom! Another setup. Highlandcycles for my YZ250, because as you guys can see now, I clearly like these things better than Flexxbars. I still think Flexxbars are awesome. Fast Company has been hugely awesome to me over the years, and I love their product. I just think this is better. That's all there is to it. It's not that Flexxbars are bad or that they don't do what they say they're going to do. I just think this is a better product. So I'm switching those out. But that does mean I'm going to have an extra set of Flexxbars from the YZ. Right over here, old Jolene is losing these bars. And I'm going to be putting my own set of whatever. So I'm going to give these bars away here on YouTube. So if you're watching this, just know that coming soon will be a giveaway for these bars. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the video that is going to talk about how I'm giving these away. Like I said, I do think the Mako 360 is better, but these are going to be free. And they're really awesome. So, alright guys, so Maria, the XR650R, is back up on the lift, and I am getting ready to install the clutch. Now, it's a Henson basket. I originally, when I got the old clutch out, you saw that the ring gear, if you haven't seen that, I forget what Shlog it's on. I'll see if I can find it and put the card up here, but if not, hunt it out. But basically, when you grab the basket and try to move the ring gear, it would click, 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 and move. Well, there's bushings in here, as with every bike, to kind of cushion the transmission from the motor. And I found out through some research that you can't purchase those bushings. They're like rubber. Anyway, you can't buy them. They just don't exist anywhere. I talked to Henson. They've never been able to source them. Anyway, I was super bummed because that means you have to buy a whole clutch. which then means I would not need the Hinson basket, or I would just throw the other one. Anyway, so I went ahead and took it apart and took a look, and sure enough, it actually tightened up. And I don't know if it's because the parts on the Hinson basket are just a little bit bigger or what, but when I put it all together, now it doesn't move. So I'm really, really happy about that. So I'm going to slap this thing back together. I got a brand new clutch pack from EBC that I'm going to put in there. And then we're going to see if it fires up, because it's been sitting way too long now, and I honestly don't know. I think I drained the carburetor, but I don't know. And we'll find out here shortly. But if it fires up and runs, this might be what I ride tonight for Thursday night. Or maybe I'll ride the KT. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm super stoked. If this does run, though, and we get it going, well, either way, I'm going to get it going. I'm going to be filming a video of the Rimrocker Trail, which is the new last few years route that goes from here straight to Moab off-road. So make sure you subscribe and hang out for that one, because that's going to be awesome. It's mainly just 2-track stuff, but it's really cool thing that you can just go from here to Moab on dirt, which is awesome. So anyway, let's get this thing in there. Alright guys, clutch is in, oil's in it, it's got coolant. Now let's just see if it's going to start. I hooked the carburetor back up, turned the gas on. It didn't drain it all out on the ground, so that's a good start. If I got to take the carb off and clean it, whatever. But, yeah, let's see. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a lesson on starting an XR650. Hopefully it works. If the carburetor's nasty, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do. But one of the keys when a bike's been sitting for a while, even just overnight, you want to hold the decompression lever in, or in this case, whatever, operate the decompression, and then choke, fully choke, kick the thing over 6, 8, 10 times. Then roll through, you get it to just before top dead center. You use the decompression to go just past that. You come up here and we're going to kick it. Ooh. I think I may have heard it. Yeah! Woo! Yes, yes, yes. I am so stoked. Back at it. So stoked. Gosh. That makes me happy. In my soul. Oh, guys, it's the end of the week. It's the end of the Shlog. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this Shlog. Had a great time making it. We had a good week. We're actually cutting out a little early because Zach is going to go watch the National Motocross over in Lakewood, and I am going to my sister-in-law's wedding. So anyway, I love you guys so much. You know what I'm going to say. I hope you get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highlandcycles is inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes!